one of my boys yesterday rang me. I love him to bits and was out of nail gun gas and didn't know what to do. And so I had to explain to him that he has a hammer. Like, it's, I guess, I've definitely relaxed a lot being off site. Like, I used to be pretty full on all day, and I feel for some of those boys now.
You might want to pay for some counselling.
Boys will be sleeping a lot better than I'm not on the site. Yeah.
What is success to you?
I think it was a learn to love it experience.
And there's always pitfalls that you can fall in, but then you've got no one else to blame but yourself.
Number one thing if you're struggling is to catch other people about it.
Sam Hayes, thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries.
Appreciate it. Tell me a little bit about how you got into building.
My grandfather in Christchurch was a builder, so that was the path for me. So yeah, pretty grateful I could do that. I went to school and played rugby, and then straight into building out of high school in Christchurch for good company, Stu Lindsay Builders. So
Shout out.
Still very close with Stu and his family. So yeah, did 4.5 years down there, and then the earthquake hit, and I had an opportunity up here with North Harbour Rugby. So came up and just played for them for a few years, and yeah.
Cool. What position did you play?
Flanker.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. What was it like playing professional rugby?
Yeah, I was sort of semi-pro, but I played with a lot of super boys, and it was cool. It was it was awesome. Yeah, some great friendships, but just I guess a lot of training wasn't really for me. So did a bit of an OE, and then ended up back on the tools. Yeah.
Right. Did you play any rugby over when you went?
I
on
just
your
went
OE?
to Spain, which sort of like club rugby. So it was just a cruisy year with my now wife, and yeah, had a good time.
Oh, good stuff. Oh, that would have been a pretty good experience.
Yeah, for me, I'd never really been anywhere outside of Australia, so to get over to Europe was amazing. So it was, I was going to keep going, but you sort of start balancing what you're chasing, and for me, I was never a superstar, so would have been chasing some pretty average contracts around the world.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. I've got a lot of friends, and my cousin actually played for South Africa. I'm from South Africa.
Oh, there you
go. He played a lot of he played this club rugby over there, but it's definitely like a full-on different lifestyle. And you're away from the family a lot, and once you start having kids and things like that, it gets pretty hard.
Yeah, and like my body's pretty cooked already, so I'm grateful I only stopped playing early 20s, so now I'll be more of a wreck, you know.
Yeah. So what made you decide to get into building?
I came back from over there and I didn't know anything else. And when I came home, it was a bit of a quiet time in the industry. So I was lucky I got an opportunity to build a guy's house from rugby. So I literally just came home, started a company, when really I probably wasn't ready to do it. Straight in with a business, no idea. And just went from there really. So just.
And what year was that?
2014.
Okay.
And I'd pretty much had 3 years off the tools. So from being qualified to the business, experience-wise, I was pretty green. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then what type of project was that, the first one you took on?
It was a 4 or 5 level house on Cliff Road in Torbay, and it's still standing.
Miracle.
So, and we're still friends, yeah.
So then you just got a few boys together, like how did you put a team together?
I hired one mate and we built that, and then he was with me for 5 years and had a few apprentices come in. Then I ended up like going from one job to try and have 2 jobs. It was just a bit of a shambles early on. To be honest, it's just better to keep it simple and stick to one job. Don't try and get more, but you only learn by trying, right? So
yeah. So you feel like a lot of, or let's not speak for other builders, but for yourself in terms of you try to push yourself a bit too hard, too big for your boots at the start.
Never say no. Just think, it's going to be good money, but really you'll be. My situation, I was better just getting time on the tools, which I hadn't had, you know. To try and upskill a bit instead of trying to grow a business. So I sort of ended up with about 6 guys after 3 years, and then went back down a bit, and then sort of when I got to year 5, sort of knew how to control it a bit better, you know. So then now I'm in year 10, I think I have control. So it's taken a long time.
Yeah. It seems to be that way. Where I talk to a lot of builders that have 20, 30 years experience, and they go, mate, when you're 10 years in, you're only kind of starting to figure out how this game works.
I think so, yeah. Early on I had heaps of young guys, and just really stretched myself trying to oversee too many jobs and too many mistakes, Like I don't really believe you can be on the tools on a site and then run your business on other sites and give that client the best version, Like half-assing everything. So.
Yeah, 100%. So what are some, to kind of keep on that thread, what are some differences that you found sort of going off on the, purely on the tools, working for someone, and obviously you had a bit of a break, but transitioning that into starting your own company, what are some of the differences and some of the mistakes that you can remember making?
Being on the tools and then trying to price jobs, do fixed price jobs for people, and half-assing the pricing and getting the job, and then getting to the back end of the job and you're like, what have I done here? And then just trying to manage that. And that was, for me, I did it a few years ago, made a mistake, and it cost me. And then I realised this is just simplify this a wee bit. Yeah, so that was...
So the early days, were you... So you're working all day and then you're pricing at night, or how did that work?
I've only been off the tools for 3 years, and I was semi-on and off and just trying to do everything. So early days doing everything, all the time. It was just like a lot of guys, you're tapped in every angle. So then I changed my strategy to hire. I started hiring guys with more experience than me, and so now I've got 3 site managers with much more experience than me, and it's just changed my life. It's brilliant. Yeah, got to pay for it, but well worth it.
That's very interesting, because in my other business, it's been the same, where it was very much like I was the hero and you have a bunch of helpers.
Yeah.
And the business is always going to revolve around you, because you have all these helpers looking up going, what do I do now? What do I do now? Where when we started hiring people that kind of in certain aspects of their roles know more than me, they're able to take that leadership, even educate me on some aspects, and then take it from there, like that's a bit of a different approach, right?
Yeah, I think you always want to be the man, but then when I realised I'm not the man, much better now. So now we've got a pretty good mix of great young guys, but the top end, it may look more like a retirement village, but they go good.
Let's talk a bit about that then. What's your crew mix at the moment in terms of the guys working qualified versus unqualified? How many years experience, that sort of thing? Yeah,
qualified. So I've got six guys qualified with over, they'd have over 25 years each.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I've got a young builder who's going great, and then I've got 5 apprentices who are great, actually, to be honest, like at great levels, and I'm real stoked with them. And then a hammerhand who's also our jib stopper. Cool. Old boy, he's been building for like 15 years as well. So, and then we've got a digger operator as well. So a bit of a mix there, but it's definitely hard for the young guys, but they're learning from the best, I believe. So they'll get far better skill set than if they're learning off me.
And so it seems like a lot of, if you look at the amount of guys you've got, how many guys do you say, 14 guys, 13 guys, something like
13,
that?
14, yeah.
And 5 of them are apprentices. Seems like quite a high ratio. Is that true?
Yeah, it is, but you've got you take the site managers out of the picture who are busy doing things, and then you've also pretty much got builder-apprentice combinations throughout. So instead of having profit-wise, it's not the I guess you'd want more apprentices, right? But that's not where the money necessarily comes from. So I think the balance is pretty good. We've probably got room for 1 more apprentice, but just getting the right people. Like, I've got the right apprentices at the moment, so I don't want to unsettle that.
Yeah, and obviously because you've got such old guys at the other end, they can really learn quite fast.
The boys they're in their mid-40s, so they're not necessarily, we're not on wheelchairs or anything yet, but I should get a bit more life out of them,
Yeah, exactly. So what are your sort of point of view on the industry? I think we're officially in a recession now, April 2024, on paper. What does that mean for the construction industry, and where do you sort of see things even in, I mean, you're in based in northwest and central Auckland. Where do you see the market going?
I think people are being a lot more positive now. Like, had quite a few inquiries, which we just don't get, we never get, and a lot of our work was delayed from COVID, which is coming back online now. So, I mean, it's just a case of, I guess there's a lot of guys quiet. I think it's going to start picking up well, but I mean, you've just got to fall back on your old clients and relationships, and there's definitely work there. But yeah, I think I don't know, I'm always pretty positive about it, you know, like you sort of figure out that work always comes, you know, like a mate of mine rang me last week, had a job fall through, he's got nothing, and now I think he's got something now, you know, so it always comes right, like. So you look back 5 years, I don't have a job to go to, you get a job. So I just fall back on the past and sort of reflect on that. Like, yeah, we might be in a recession now, but it's just cycles, right, all the time. So we're pretty stable all the time, pretty consistent. So yeah, we can't take on much work with that many guys. So we don't need a lot of work to keep us busy either.
Yeah, exactly. So, and sometimes it becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, where people kind of look, it's recession, and then they get the glass half empty.
It's a great time to build because pricing's competitive again from the merchants, right? Like a few years ago, it was out of control, and now you got multiple guys, merchants trying to undercut each other. So, if you're a client now, there's no better time to build. Like, it's not going to get cheaper than now. Like, you know, then there'll be the next global disaster in 4 years, and it'll skyrocket again. So
you do a lot of architectural work. I had a bit of a look through the old Instagram, look through the projects that you guys work on. And it seems like you purely do architectural work, right? What's your sort of ethos and point of view on those type of projects, and why do you guys only target those and not necessarily have like the mix of the small and big stuff?
I guess, I don't know, when I was trained on architectural builds, didn't really know, like renovation's a very specialist thing as well. So when I started out, I just set it upon myself to target architectural builds, and we work for some great architects so far, and hopefully I'm sure our jobs are getting better and better, and my guys are getting better and better. So I think the architectural, it's just what I want to do, you know, it's what I want, you know. I'm not trying to do a deck and a renovation. Like, we do the odd renovation, but it's not something, there's plenty of guys out there better than us at those, you know, so.
And how do you know, because everyone listening in here must be builders, right? And either business owners are looking to go out on their own. What advice do you have, or what approach do you reckon is a good approach in terms of like reaching out to architects or trying to get on an architect's radar to be able to work with them more closely as a builder?
Yeah, I mean, you've just got to, they're obviously a good source of work, but I mean, you've just got to try and get through homeowners, and just, you know, then the architects will come with them and just try and do a good job there and take slow steps, you know, like architects eventually will see your work. Once you start doing a great job and just keep doing a good job, and then, the rest will come with it, you know, like you'll end up working for better architects, and people do start to take notice when you start delivering a really high product.
Yeah, so is your approach more to, or I guess even now it's a bit more of a pull effect, right, where people kind of come to you, but as you were coming up over the last 10 years, were your approach always to target more and reach out to the architects from a sales point of view, or more focus on the end client and then the architects came with it?
Yeah, like I reached out, like a sort of a changing build for us was we did 2 builds for Chris Tate, probably 6 years ago, and they were sort of above what we were capable of, and I got a relationship with the client, and then that sort of put us in front of better architects when they saw that. So I don't know. I don't know about, you reach out to architects, but they have their preferred builders. So I think if you get an opportunity with one architect, just do it really well, and they'll tell their mates and be patient. Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of the
we're-
best form of marketing and lead generation is doing a great job.
Yeah, like even now we're pricing some bigger jobs against some really, really top companies in Auckland. And yeah, like we haven't got these jobs yet. So we're really trying to prove ourselves against guys that have proved themselves over 30, 40 years in Auckland, you know?
Yeah.
So, and we're like, yeah, it's just be patient and one will come, you know?
Yeah. A big part of a lot of builders that we talk to are, seem to come back to this whole thing of like slow and steady is the best way to go. And then on the other side, you have these companies that just come out of nowhere all of a sudden, and then they have this massive operation within like 5 years. What's your approach to growth and putting yourself out there and trying to build the business up over time?
Yeah, I mean, we're at a pretty good size now. Like I don't want much more growth, to be honest. Like I've got a pretty good balance with everything at the moment. We'll grow a little bit, but that's only 2 or 3 more guys, you know. So it's just up to the individual. Some people want that 50 guys or 60 guys, and good on you. For me, I don't have it in me. I don't want a big office of people, you know. So I like it simple. I like being able to just go fishing and no one really cares where I am, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it almost gets to a point where you just now focus more on the quality rather than the quantity,
Yeah.
right? So if each project can be like something that's epic to work on.
It's for me focusing on trying to learn how to be better on the business side, because you know, like it's taking me. I'm getting there, but it's a slow one. So like the guys on site are doing a great job. It's just my end as well, trying to get better at that. They are all pretty top of their game almost, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm not yet. Yeah.
In terms of what we discussed earlier offline around business partnerships, you don't have you don't have a business partner, it's just yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You've said that you've been involved with businesses in the past where there were some partnerships, and you obviously know a lot of your friends and whatnot on partnerships. What are your thoughts on people thinking about going in with another builder or a non-builder into a partnership, starting a building company?
Yeah, well, I think so. Like my partnerships have come on little side things with friends, scaffolding, earthworks, and we weren't really like that. Wasn't our main focus. So we had other businesses, so we weren't driving it. So it was never really going to be successful. But I think if you're going into partnership with someone in building, you need to have different skill sets. But it's also when you're starting out and say you're the builder, you got a mate who's a businessman. Like the businessman's not going to be as useful as the builder, because what's he really doing, you know, when you're doing small jobs starting out. So I think, for me, it would never work with me. I'm pretty nuts, so nobody would want to deal with me. But I've got mates in Riverhead who have got an incredible company, and they're completely opposite, but they're both builders as well.
Right.
But
Okay.
one sort of does the business, the other one's project management, and they're just nailing it, you know. So
So it can work.
it can work. You just need the right person. Like if you're both builders, it's a pretty good start, you know, because you can grow it together. But maybe unless you build it up to a point and then you sold it, half of it to a businessman, I mean, that's not a silly idea either, to buy some time back.
What are some challenges you're currently facing in your business?
A lot of delay. Like we've had a lot of delays on start dates, and it's just like you're repricing, then it gets delayed, then it gets binned. Just normal stuff, like nothing out of the ordinary. Challenges, we're not at the moment. Like we're okay. Like I guess it's still challenging to get a job to site, you know, because people aren't rushing to spend the money. So when you get a job to site, you got to have a beer, because it is bloody hard to get jobs to site. Like we've just started 2 new jobs in town, which is great. So that's so that's, I don't know. I wouldn't say we have too many challenges at the moment. Just nothing out of the ordinary.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of people are getting that, because it's kind of come off the back end of the interest rates going up and COVID and stuff, and people looking to build, they have been thinking, well, I guess they have their eyes on the interest rates, right? And going, well, they're probably going to come down at some point. So I don't have to rush. I can kick the can down the road a little bit. and it's just going to get better for me. That's probably what they're thinking, right? That there's no need to rush.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of the people who like we want to work for aren't necessarily worried about the banks. At the moment, they're investing their money buying shares and commercial property, so
Yes.
why wouldn't you? So they're in no rush to build either.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's the same, if some people are worried about the bank, others are like, I can get deals at the moment, so let's get the deals, we'll build our house in 3 years, so.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there's a lot of opportunities out there as the market sort of changes and fluctuates.
Incredible time, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
What are your thoughts on marketing, lead generation, that sort of stuff? Do you get all your work from word of mouth, or do you guys do anything marketing wise, or put yourselves out there?
Yeah, like I haven't done a lot. I've put a few jobs in magazines, odd Instagram post. At the moment, we're actually trying the Google AdWords for the first time, just for 3 months, to see if we generate a good lead. So that's never really done anything. Like we put a project in House of the Year a few years ago, which was really good for us. Picked up another project out of that, so that was well worth it. We've got another project going in this year, so hopefully that had a bigger effect than any other marketing I've ever done.
That's pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
So, and were you guys a finalist or?
Yeah, no, we won our category.
Cool.
It was one of those builds you sort of you dream about it. It was just cool. So
Awesome.
But, that helped. So that's definitely something for guys starting out. I think if you can get a renovation in there or something, and people can see that you're working to a certain level, it does carry a bit of weight.
Yeah, and how did you guys how did that transfer into getting a job?
I just got invited to a tender, and then we tendered the project that I've actually put in now. So
right,
so that was I probably tendered it 4 years ago. It was a 2-year build, and so it worked really well for us, because that half my guys for 2 years. So
yeah. What are your thoughts on obviously in the architectural space? Are you ever in a position where you can get a client to pay for a quote and then work through like a preliminary process with you, or is it always just that you're going to have to just tender, the architect draws it up, they want 3 builders to tender?
It's normally tender, so which obviously is a huge cost, tendering a big project. I'd say you could easily 20 to 30 grand tendering a big house. So it's I guess it's as you want to grow and get those better jobs, it's part of trying to match it with those big boys. That's the bad end of it, right? Like you're going to lose a bit of money, but you could also get a good win out of it as well.
Yeah.
If you get that project, you get one of those projects, you're going to keep getting more,
Okay, so you got to tender through those architects, you got to tender for those big jobs, and then all that comes out of your pocket then? You got to pay that 20, 30 grand?
You got to pay it, and it's bespoke stuff, so the QSs can't, their rates are pretty not relevant for labour or anything. Like, you can trust them, but you'd be a fool, so.
Yeah. So you have a QS that works in-house with you guys?
No, he's based in Hamilton and just part-time, which is working really well. We don't have enough. I don't price enough work to have someone full-time, so it'd be a stupid expense. Yeah.
So he sort of understands your processes, how long things take, and you've worked together long enough now.
Yeah, I just have a model how I price, and each tender is different. They'll request. They'll generally put you all in the same format to price it, so it's easy to compare. But I mean, generally he's just doing schedules of all the quantities. The subcontractors do all of their stuff. I do the labour based on what we've done. So we just our time sheeting. It's all task based in it, so I can sort of get a good idea on different square metre rates for framing a flat roof or vertical cedar cladding and that sort of thing. So I work out everything off those rates.
Yeah. And how do you run those processes? So do you use like a project management software, or do you guys do like spreadsheets, or how do you guys do your project management and all your timesheets?
Yeah, we use Rave Build for our scheduling and document control, and then I use spreadsheets for all my payment claims and that. So, and then we have builder price for timesheeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sort of 3 different things. They're all very different, but they seem to, like, I probably don't use the Rave build as well as I should either. Like, I'm not quite using it properly. Like, it's
Right.
on my end, but I've definitely used it for document control and programming, but not to. It can do a lot more than that. Yeah.
Right. And then what do you guys use for payroll?
The payroll's through a company called Smart Payroll, and
Yep.
that's probably the best thing I ever did when I started. Is someone recommended I go to them, so they pay your PA, obviously all your PAYE, everything's paid at the same time, so you're not having to hold tax for people when you're not good at money management and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
that's been a real game changer for us. I think it's called Smartly now. But
Yeah, Smartly. Yeah, there's a few of those out there at the moment.
It's brilliant. It really is. And so I don't do. I've got a lady who does all the payroll and that, so which is great. But yeah, it's bloody helpful that the boys get their timesheets off it as well, so they all know where they're at. So
Yeah, and they know if they don't do the timesheets, they're not going to get paid.
yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, they get their pay slips. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it just automates everything.
It's just and it's not a huge expense for anyone really, and it just keeps it so clean, because you can imagine guys trying to store money, and then you've got a job going to shit, and you need money. Like, it's always, and then you're creating cash, like tax issues. Nobody wants tax issues.
Yeah, you just got to use as much. I guess there's a lot of software, there's a lot of automation, there's a lot of things that you could use to make a life a lot easier. And I guess people are sort of scared of, because like anything, right? If you don't know how to use something, it's always this big thing in your head. But it's once you figure it out, it's actually not that as hard as people think.
Yeah,
right?
and my guys like different things like as well using it, but one of the boys likes using Microsoft Project for scheduling, and then the other guy's got on Ray Build. So
Right.
it's all, but each job as well, they might request your schedule from Microsoft Project. So it's the project management software is not really helping with the scheduling on those jobs, but it's great for us for controlling all the documents and putting everything in one place. You can download it into the job,
Yeah. People always want to know what are some of like the biggest mistakes? What's some horror stories there where you've maybe lost a bit of cash through the process? Like, because everyone has those stories, and then sometimes it happens to guys that are like, they're 3 years in and they find themselves in a horror situation. They think they're the only one. Do you have anything you can share with us that probably hurts as you tell the story, maybe?
Yeah, I've got a few. My biggest learnings have been when I've lost money. Like, so not great to learn from losing money either. Like, it's pretty brutal.
Can imagine you're really learning when
you're really learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. One job I did, they had a QS on the job, and he was wouldn't pay my full payment claims the whole job, and then I got to the final payment claim, and then the client wouldn't pay. It was just planned, and then I'm like lawyering up against someone who's got a lot more money than me, and so I took a smack there. Then another one I did, I missed quite a big elevation of cedar on a job, and cedar had doubled in price during COVID, so it cost me about, I don't know, 40 grand or something.
Yeah.
So that was an experience as well.
Yeah.
So that's two big things off the top of my head. But I mean, there's always stuff, you're too busy, you're missing variations. You can't be bothered sending variations because you're worried about how the client's going to respond to you. When I was a bit younger, you just leave it, you just wear it. So a lot of things like that over time. But now I'm like, if it's be clear about the variation stuff at the start with the client, and then just be confident, and just because you're only doing it to make money,
Yeah. Do you want to elaborate on that part? Because if you're building architectural homes, variations is sort of just very much part of the journey, because obviously that's architectural, and so how would you recommend? What's your advice on how to approach that whole process when for builders sort of more coming into the architectural stuff?
It's a lot easier when you've got the architect helping you as well on them, because the job we have in House of the Year, me and the architect, we'd say there was 100 variations, but he drove them. Like, he would send it to me and I'd price it, and then he'd deliver it to the client. So it was that was really good, really, really good. And then the client would go off and think on it, and I'd just give as much detail as possible, and that was just the most stress-free variations I've had. When you're dealing directly with the client, it's hard, like, because they're stressed, you know, especially like smaller jobs. The client, you know, people are maxing out to put 2 bedrooms on their house, and then you're like, well, this has changed, or sorry, I missed this.
Yes.
It's harder. So I mean, having architects help you with variations is, was good for me, because they're generally managing the contract as well. So their relationship with the client, they're really looking out for the client, but they want to help their builder as well, because they want to get the result, you know.
Yeah. And then I assume it's probably, you know, documenting those variations is really important, rather
everything.
than just a phone call.
It's documentation straight away. Send an email, whatever, put it in your template, and just,
What are some of the worst advice out there? You know, building industry is a tough industry. And, you know, you hear a lot of people throwing around advice and things like that. Do you have any advice you've heard out there that sort of like doesn't really hit home?
I don't know. I don't know. I just, mate, I don't really listen, eh? So you see a lot of different stuff on social media and people stating stuff there, which you'd shake your head at. But I mean, I'm not one to give advice unless I'm asked, you know? So
yeah.
I don't think so. It's you've just got to get into it and figure it out yourself as a builder. Like have a mentor, have someone who's done it, you know? Like I've got an older builder who I've known for 12 years now in Auckland, and a highly successful company. So he's anything I've ever needed, I'll ring him, and he's gone through it, you know. And he's at the back end now, done really well, still doing really well. So I've had him to get good advice off, you know.
Yeah.
So like you don't take advice from people that aren't where you want to be, you know. So that's what I think. Yeah.
And how much of having that mentor how much has that added to the growth of your business, do you believe?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's now I think, like, when he used to tell me stuff, I'd just shake my head, and now I can see it way better. So like he's I mean, it's helped me a lot, and he still helps me when, you know, I catch up with him every few months for a beer, and this is not someone I ring every day, but just pick your brain. How did you price this? How did you cope with this? Like, because nothing extreme, you know, just someone there like that. And then I've got a few other mates who similar position to me, similar size. I'm sure you get some of them on here, and we bounce a lot off each other all the time as well, which is really helpful, you know.
So how often would you catch up with those guys?
Oh, one of the boys I'll catch up. We'd probably have a coffee or a beer every week, you know, and just chat through what we're pricing and how it's going, you know, just nothing extreme, just simple. And then, the other boys, the other two, whenever we can, once a month or every few months for a lunch or something, which is helpful, you know, because you're all doing the same thing. And we bounce subcontractors off each other as well, who's doing a good job here and here, because they're another pretty special part of the being a builder, you know.
Yeah. So pricing a job is a big part of what you guys do.
Yeah.
And because that can make or break. Well, firstly, in the sales process, it's very important because you've got to price it up desirably from their point of view. But then on the back end, great, now you've got the job, handshakes all around. But now if you didn't price it up right now, you're going to really create some problems for yourself. So what advice do you have around, you know, people pricing up in 2024?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's competitive, and we're tendering against each other, and you don't really know what the expectation is at the start, you know. Like, so I guess if you're pricing, try and get a relationship with the client first of all. If you get that's going to go very far. And if you miss something when you're pricing and you get the job, just speak up, you know, because everyone wants a good outcome at the end. You know, they don't. Stressed out builders, because of a little mistake in pricing, it's not going to give the client what they want, you know. So I think if you do miss something in your pricing, just be vocal about it, have a meeting, apologise, and figure out a solution.
Yeah, so that communication piece is super important.
Yeah.
Constantly just being upfront.
You say, I'm sorry, I missed this. Like, let's work it out. Like, you know, nobody's ever mad at you for saying sorry.
Yeah. That's a good point. But trying to brush it
Yeah.
under the carpet or try to
Yeah,
sneak it,
just
get away with
speak
it.
up. Like I've done stuff, in the past. You just bottle it up and it affects your whole life. So
Yeah, and then no one wins at the end because
No.
you're going to make a mistake
No,
anyway, and the
exactly.
client's going to
There's
know.
there's mistakes in every industry. So ours is really hard because people are spending their life savings with us. Like there's nothing else where people spend as much money. So it's very stressful. So take the stress out by talking.
How do you cultivate good culture in your company? People management's one of the hardest aspects of running any business. How do you get good culture, make sure the guys are happy? Is there any sort of practical things that you've learned over time? Or
I mean, our culture's changed a lot. Like we used to, when we were like younger boys, just rip into the beers, which was brilliant, and then start having kids and stuff, and it changes. Like, our culture now is beers in the fridge and really simple. Like we're not like we're not going out partying or anything together anymore. But with the guys on site, have got pretty good relationships with each other. So have a few beers after work on a Friday. It's nothing major, mate. Just something pretty easy.
yeah,
I think. Yeah.
and how important is the relational aspect? How important is it for guys to get along versus just hiring purely them on their skill?
Yeah.
Like, is that really important, or do they just
it
have
is
to-
important, but you also want guys with a bit of bite, and you want guys to clash, and call each other out, and there's always disagreements, Like so, I've got a real mix. Like I've got, it is good for them to get along, but you want guys to. I want guys to speak up, Like if a builder's doing something wrong, nah, mate, like this is, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it is hard with older guys as well because guys can be stuck in their way, but I'd like to think my young boys can tell them if they have a good idea and they'll listen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, when we talked off air before, you kind of mentioned you're a bit more old school in your approach. Elaborate on that for me.
Old school. I'd like the boys can all ring me and they know that if there's something going wrong, but I also want guys to front up, and if it's raining, get out in the rain. Like I don't want to hear about it because we're doing our best for the client. So, it's one of my boys yesterday rang me. I love him to bits and was out of nail gun gas and didn't know what to do, and so I had to explain to him that he has a hammer. So, like it's I guess I've definitely relaxed a lot being off site. Like I used to be pretty full on all day, and I feel for some of those boys now.
You might want to pay for some counselling.
Boys will be sleeping a lot better than I'm not on the sites. Yeah.
But I think it's good. I think I think the pendulum always swings sometimes too far, right? And so, yes, there's been very much like a toughen up culture, and now, but then also that can go too far where people kind of get soft and accountability kind of goes out the window.
You just ask people how they are, and if they're struggling, hopefully they can speak to you. But it's a hard job. Like, some days you gotta dig a trench or you gotta cut concrete. So if you're gonna whinge about it, well, go do something else. Because it's just simple. Yeah. Don't do it.
I love it. Yeah. So what's your sort of mentality then around work, family? What is success to you?
Yeah, I was fishing on Wednesday this week and I'm busy. So that's it. Like, just if you want to do something, go and do it. Nothing's going to change if you take a day off. Realising that. Like dropped my girls at school and daycare yesterday morning, and just worked a bit later last night. But just choosing what I want to do. Like So now if the wind's good out west, I'll go out fishing, and take time off. Like it's not a big deal. I used to think it was a big deal and trying to work 6 days a week and prove something, and now I just like looking back, you're like, what am I doing? Like I can still achieve my work just a bit more efficient, instead of just sitting in the office for 12 hours procrastinating, do 5 and pick your kids up from school. So success to me is just controlling my time, really. Outside of work, that's what success at work is, seeing the boys do a good job, and outside of the work, it's completely controlling my time. If I want to go to the gym at lunchtime, go to the gym, and just do what makes me happy. Yeah. And I'd never be able to do that if I had a company with 50 guys
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and then because I guess a lot of builders are practical and they think that input equals output, and sometimes the harder they work, the best results they're going to get, and that is true. You need to work. It
is true when you're on site. Like you got to put max effort in. You really, if you've got a program and that sort of pressure as well. So that still does impact me as well. But no, at the start of this year, I just said, look, if it's good, I'm gonna take some time off and take a lot more leave than I normally do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that means you're making 5% less at the end of the year,
exactly. Like we're our capacity is sort of 2 to 3 builds, So, and we know how to do that. If I went to 4 builds, that I wouldn't have any time. Like I'd have to change, or I'd have to bring someone else into the company to help me. Yeah, project manager or something like that. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess when people listening in, it's kind of comes down to like your personality and what you want to take on, and some guys want to have the 50 guys. Absolutely. And that's what's going to make them happy, because they're progressing and they're building and stretching themselves. But that's not for everyone.
No, not at all. It's definitely not for me. But you never know. Hey, might see me in 10 years and then
might be different.
Could be different. But for now, it's not on the next 5 years, that's for sure.
Yeah. And how do you balance running a company, having the stresses of that and running around, and then also family life, keeping the missus happy, being present with the kids and stuff like that? How do you sort of navigate all that?
Oh, it's hard, just giving my wife time to go to the gym Tuesday, Thursday morning, Saturday. That's her time, so I'll stay home later those mornings, which has helped a lot. I sort of work late 2 nights a week, but I've got a great wife. She's been with me since I started the company and seen all the crap I've gone through, and like now we feel like we're in a pretty good place. So just taking the girls to school, or making sure on weekends we're home, just like the last 4 weeks we've been home together. So it's been, the stresses, I don't really take the stress home anymore. Like I've been through not sleeping and all that, but now you do realise that it's the same stress now as 5 years ago. Nothing's changes. It's just different. You're a bit older, so it'll be the same in 5 years' time. So it's just, I don't know, go to the gym and just talk.
Yeah, because that was going to be my next question, is that how do you generally help with, what helps you in terms of stress when you have stress in your life, and you're kind of like in a funk, and you just kind of like, your mind's running, and you just a whole bunch of stuff you got to do, and what helps you to kind of de-stress?
I go to a gym class. So like 3 more, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 a.m. I'm there. Even if I'm buggering around, I'm there, and that helps me a lot. And then I'll go fishing. I'll do a lot of fishing, and you solve a lot of the world's problems having a few jars on the ocean. So that's been a huge thing for me as well. Just getting away completely, getting out of reception. That's a big deal. You get out of cell phone reception for a day, you come home, and you can just deal with it the next day, and you feel a lot better.
Yeah, 100%. Hey. Yeah, getting out of reception, actually, that's great.
Get out of reception, and just make sure, like, I've got great site managers, so they've got big roles, and just don't try and do everything yourself. Yeah. That's what, a lot of the time it's simple stuff you can get someone else to do for you if you're too busy, or,
Why do you think the industry, we're not going to talk too much about meditation and yoga or anything like that, but why do you think the building industry has such bad statistics around mental health and divorce rate, and it's not doing very well in that capacity? Why do you think that is?
What's a lot of stress? A lot of people's stresses come from financial pressure, right? So when you're building a house for someone and they're not the right client, and it's your one job, your one source of income, and they hold money for a month, and you can't pay your subcontractors, can't pay your staff, you start taking that on your wife, start drinking more, that's gonna nail that relationship, and I guess that guys don't talk about it, so that's the problem. Like, don't go have a beer with a mate and talk about it, or whatever, so that can, definitely a huge strain on your relationship, that financial stress from construction, because And we're not trained to. You come in as a builder, you don't know how to deal with sending big invoices and stuff. Like, you don't know how to deal with money. So, and yeah, it's very hard on the partners as well. Like, just when you're not getting paid on time, and it creates a massive problems, So I think that, like the financial stress of running a building company, of course it would smoke heaps of relationships, and obviously high suicide rates, and that's just, the phone's always ringing. Sometimes you can't get away from it. So just trying to figure out a way to get away from it that makes you feel good, because if you let it get on top of you, you're not going to take calls at 7 at night from people. Like, set some boundaries and just get home and put your phone on do not disturb. And if you want to contact someone, do it on your own terms,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's almost like a recipe for disaster if you approach it the wrong way.
Yeah. Just the phone ringing all the time. It can get to you, and it used to get to me, but it doesn't. I don't get all those calls now because my boys are dealing with their own sites, and I'm not getting 3 sites worth of phone calls from people with questions that I don't know the answers to. So
yeah,
that's taken a lot off me.
Yeah, well, we were talking about this the other day, but around how builders don't talk to each other enough, but as soon as you kind of tell someone, oh, you need to like reach out to a mate or whatever, immediately they assume it's going to be like some sort of like sit down and, hey mate, let me talk to you about your problems. But I've actually found that with guys, it's actually if you can connect it or couple it with doing an activity, guys tend to talk anyway. So if you could do it with like while you're fishing or while you go for a surf or while you do an activity, guys tend to open up a bit more rather than sitting like across from each other like this. Do you find what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have I don't have any issues talking about stuff because my dad had mental health issues, which he's dealt with for years and years. So I sort of grew up with it, and I saw how he was. So it's sort of been great for me talking about how I feel. And I think I'm getting better and better. You don't need and everyone's gone through the same stuff. Like builders, we've all everyone's dealing with the same shit. It's not, so it's quite easy to chat. Oh, I stuffed this up. Oh, same, I did that. Oh, sweet, that's all good then. Carry on. It's simple, We just make it not simple, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes just knowing that you're not the only person, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of half fixes it. A problem shared is a problem halved, right? Is that what they say?
Yeah.
What resources do you is there anything out there like books or podcasts or anything like that or like shows, documentaries, anything that you've kind of like gotten into that sort of helped you kind of get your mind in the right space to attack the week?
Nah, that's just the gym. Just the gym class, mate. The 1 hour, nothing. Yeah, I don't listen to any no podcasts or anything or do a lot of reading. So just the gym and trying to play. On Friday, I try and plan my first few days of the next week just to give me some sort of base. Otherwise, I'm someone who needs to plan what I'm doing. Otherwise, I won't achieve anything. So, yeah. So
that's probably a good way.
Just a little basic planning, like nothing hectic, but just allocating my time for Monday, Tuesday, and then, So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's probably a good way of, planning your week out. That a lot of people do it on Sunday night or just kind of before the week starts,
and it always changes. So,
yeah.
I've never got through a list yet, but it's just something I do, and it works for me. Yeah.
What's the gym that you do?
Oh, I just go to a CrossFit gym and sort of half-ass it a bit, but that's all right. Get a sweat on. Yeah.
A half-assed CrossFit workout's a pretty hard workout still, isn't it?
Yeah, just pot it away in the corner, mate.
That's awesome. Cool, man. I've got some rapid-fire questions that you can just say pass on or answer them. And, just going to get a bit of a quick one away, and then I'll be out of your hair.
Magic.
Yeah. How big is your team?
Yeah, 13 on the ground, yeah.
Cool. What's your crew mix?
It's good. About 50-50 builders apprentices, yeah.
Cool. How many projects did you complete last year?
2.
Cool. And In terms of turnover, you can pass on this, but is it under 1, 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, or 20 plus million?
5 to 10.
What's the lowest gross profit margin building companies should be aiming for?
Pass.
Free quote or paid quote?
Free.
Project management software or spreadsheets?
Both.
EV or petrol head?
Petrol.
Classic rock or classical?
Rock.
Are you a jock or a hippie?
Jock.
Are you too mean or too nice to your staff?
Pass.
Are you extrovert or introvert?
Extrovert.
Motocross or fishing?
Fishing.
Yeah, I knew that answer. Do you have a business or life hero at the moment?
No. Pass.
What's your favorite hobby?
Fishing.
Are you a alpha or beta?
Alpha.
Wine or whiskey?
Wine.
Makita, DeWalt, or Milwaukee?
Makita.
Not Ryobi.
Nah. No.
Glass half empty or half full?
Half full.
Do you think about the past or the future the most?
The past.
Cool. That's it.
Easy, eh?
Did you have fun?
Oh, a lot of fun, yeah.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
that's
for coming on. That was a good chat.
Yeah.
That kind of went quite quick.
Yeah, but out there for me, it's good.